and then sit with them, not trying to answer, but as if fire में से अपने आप कुछ निकलेगा. Uh, like when I am doing this kind of contemplation on my own, so I like to kind of even question ki, जैसे meaningful work, supposing if I take that, then I also start like to question ki, सच में ये, I mean, ये sentence that work has to be meaningful, yeah, वो is it really the need, or is it coming from the outer environment, you know? Because we keep on listening so much, and we might resonate in some ways, कुछ कुछ वर्क हो तो मीनिंगफुल होना चाहिए. So it's more like being more aware that is it truly really, how much do I really resonate with it, or simply मैंने कुछ पकड़ लिया है, हवा में कोरोना वायरस चल रहा था तो वायरस पकड़ लिया मैंने, ये वर्क मीनिंगफुल होना चाहिए. So that's one question I would be kind of uh, throw into the fire of contemplation. The other is uh, suddenly मुझे ऐसा लगा कि यार what is meaningful truly. I would really like to uh, sit and expand my consciousness around that. Meaningful जब बोलते हैं तो what does it really mean for me? And uh, is there anything that is coming in my way uh, to really allow meaningful, whatever that is, work and money, that work, so meaningful and work to come together as a union. तो कहीं मैं उसको दोनों को जोर जबरदस्ती भिड़ा रहा हूँ, और ऐसा कुछ है कि जो उसको जोर जबरदस्ती भिड़ा रहा है, और अगर ऐसा छोड़ दूं तो अपने आप वो कैसे जुड़ते हैं, यू नो, व्हाट इज देयर नेचुरल एफिनिटी, rather than what I kind of, I'm coming with a certain kind of, without my awareness, certain kind of orientation. Yeah, yeah. So these are the few things that came up, and I'm just.
Thank you, Viren. I think the question that uh, the question that is alive in me is it is almost like redefining my path for myself, but which earlier in the past has meant getting on to the next job, no. But this time I really want to take a pause and go through this inquiry. What is really meaningful for me, and similarly जो मुझे meaningful लगता है वो financially भी मेरे लिए work कर सकता है कि नहीं.
Right.
क्योंकि बहुत बार जॉब्स में ऐसा लगता है कि कुछ टाइम के बाद ना वो फ्रस्ट्रेशन सेट इन होने लगती है कि यार यहाँ मीनिंगफुल काम नहीं हो रहा, बहुत एडमिन रिलेटेड है और हाँ डेप्थ नहीं है. So how to find that balance?
Another thing that came up as Gagan was sharing, जो मेरे लाइफ में चल रहा है, is that one is my personal experience and the other is based on that. My personal experience is telling me we are in times where it's not that the times are changing, we have already changed, all of us. Yeah. And I am experiencing that in my life. Like yesterday's call, I was constantly feeling, I think I shared also, that there is completely a different, there's something very different inside me which has taken over, even before the call. तो मुझे थोड़ा लग रहा था अच्छा ये, क्योंकि वो यूजुअल वे में सब नहीं जा रहा था, अपने आप कुछ और अलग तरीके से सब हो रहा था, और मुझे वो कुछ पता नहीं था कि ये कौन कर रहा है, कैसे कर रहा है. So there was an anxiety around that or something. But I also I could make sense of it in this context that I know that I have changed, and I really don't know what has changed in me. So I'm a different person. बट अवर कॉन्शियसनेस में तो वो पास्ट वगैरह ये जो दिखता है वही फिल्टर्स में से दिखता है ना. सो फॉर मी इन दैट awareness I am the same, but I can also feel that change, but I don't know what that is, and that also makes this
Right.
context of uh, it changes this whole way of looking. अच्छा मेरे लिए मीनिंगफुल मतलब सब कुछ शायद अगर बदल गया है तो इसलिए मुझे
Right.
ये बार बार आता है कि ऐसा कुछ पुराना तो बीच में नहीं आता है कि कुछ पुराना उठा लिया ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. ओल्ड डेफिनेशन, ओल्ड वे ऑफ सीइंग एंड बिकमिंग मोर अवेयर दैट assumptions नहीं आ रहे.
So, my audio is clear to you guys?
थोड़ा बीच बीच में like it's breaking off.
Hello?
Yeah, it's breaking off a little. If you can switch off your video, we can actually have a taste कि कैसा चलता है. Audio अगर if the audio improves when you
Okay.
switch off your video, then that's how we should go. Let's try that.
Okay. Let me do that.
And then speak some one or two sentences so that we can make out.
Hmm.
And Gagan might be experiencing it completely differently. So let him also say उसके लिए कैसा है, because it could be my connection rather than yours.
मेरे लिए ठीक था सब कुछ. हाँ, I mean, yeah.
So it might be me and not.
Okay.
नहीं मेरे सेम है अभी भी वो.
So
एक
that
और
maybe you
सेंटेंस.
can turn the video.
हाँ, yes.
So I think I will speak slowly, maybe Virendra, then maybe you will able to comprehend what I am saying.
Yeah.
So I sensed I'm not able to harvest right now, but maybe Gagan or Belinda, you guys are writing in the chat or in that document or on your own. We can harvest it later if something is important which comes out. One of the thing which comes out to me is that uh, I am feeling that that there is a bit of anxiety around this question. I could sense it that there is a bit of a discomfort which we are all grappling with, and in the sense that we are questioning and am I hearing it or am I sensing it correctly? Is that is almost like there is an element of judgment about our own judgment, that what we thought meaningful in the past has not really served us very well, and we thought that was meaningful, we felt that was meaningful, but lo and behold, after some time, it didn't seem to be that meaningful at all. Am I sensing it right? I mean, it's happening with me also. Maybe I am kind of mirroring what I am feeling to you guys. But are you sensing it on your own? Is that something which is what I'm sharing?
No,
Is it fascinating?
at least not. Yeah, not for me, because one is I would say that more than anxiety. I'm not saying that some kind of um, queasy feelings are not there. Something moving inside the belly or chest that is there, but it more than anxiety. I think I am. It's also helping me pause, or maybe automatically it is pausing me, slowing me down. So I wouldn't.
Hmm.
It doesn't resonate that it is causing anxiety. Number one. Uh, what was meaningful for me yesterday is no longer meaningful for me today. Doesn't resonate that also, because it seems to be the same. It's more I'm opening up. Is it truly there? Yeah, मैं अपने आप को. So I'm just. It's not a judgment also. I'm opening up more. So I'm wanting to be more aware of that, and seeing if something is there are nuance changes happening or something like that. So
Okay.
and
Lovely.
yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And one personal a question which I have been sitting since yesterday, our call, is
Mm-hmm.
money. Somehow, whenever this work I'm doing, yeah, I'm thinking of engagement. For me, work is engaging with the outer world. That's it. Simple. I just can't. मेरे सिंपल माइंड में और कुछ अगर करने जाता हूँ तो सब झमेला हो जाता है. मैं आई गो क्रेजी. मेरे लिए बहुत सिंपल है कि when I engage with the outer world, that is my work. And then I can make sense. Okay, ठीक है, अभी ये समझ में आ रहा है. Simple definition चाहिए. और मनी का उसमें कभी आता ही नहीं है. And then when I meet, this has been happening since long. So when people encounter that part of me and they see that, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि ऐसे जैसे they would be seeing, उनकी आंखें बदल जाती थी और लगता था कि this person is some kind of a queer, कुछ कुछ आइटम है, कुछ कहीं और कोई और प्लेनेट से आया है. तो पहले मुझे लगता था अरे, तो कई बार ऐसे फोर्सफुली मनी और उसको साथ में नहीं जोड़ना चाहिए. फिर अपने आप में ले लेता था कि हाँ यार, मनी की जरूरत तो है ना, मतलब कैसे नहीं है. इट टुक मी सो लॉन्ग टू रियलाइज कि मनी की जरूरत मतलब क्या है. इंटेलेक्चुअली तो है, पर वो अंदर फील नहीं हो रही है, अभी नहीं हो रही है. सो हाउ कैन आई एक्चुअली जनरेट दैट फीलिंग ऑफ नीड फॉर मनी फॉर वॉट एवर रीजन, बिकॉज इट इज बीन प्रोवाइडेड फॉर. अगर कंडीशन ऐसा होता कि सच में खाने पीने के लाले होते या कुछ उसकी वजह से, मनी की वजह से स्ट्रेस कुछ ऐसा होता जो ट्रूली ऐसा नीड में आता है, देन आई वुड बी इन अ प्लेस टू रियली सिट एंड वंडर अबाउट इट. वो है ही नहीं तो वो कहाँ से उसको पैदा करूंगा मैं. तो मतलब इट्स लाइक समथिंग स्टूपिड. थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट कर सकता हूँ, पर how do I make it real when that is actually not there for me, Manika? And yet, since yesterday, I'm wanting to actually sit and open up more to look at it कि ये मनी और वर्क, वो बाहर तो बहुत इजीली देख रहा हूँ और उसमें मुझे कोई दिक्कत भी नहीं है. लोग कर रहे हैं उसमें, उससे मुझे कुछ उससे परेशानी नहीं. हाँ, एक्सट्रीम होता है तो होता है ऑब्वियसली, बट इट मेक सेंस इंटेलेक्चुअल कि हाँ ऐसा ही होना चाहिए. और मेरा जब आता है तो मेरा ऐसा नहीं है, तो वो जो गैप है तो वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, तो वो क्या है. तो इट्स मोर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ इन व्हाट इज द रिलेशनशिप वेयर इट सीम्स एज इफ देयर इज नो रिलेशनशिप. डज दैट मेक सेंस?
I think Gagan can also share. Yeah, I think for me it makes a lot of sense personally. Yeah.
फॉर मी ऑल्सो आई थिंक मुझे मीनिंगफुल वर्क क्या है मेरे लिए, उसके ऊपर ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है मेरे माइंड में. वो थोड़ा बहुत क्लियर है. वेयर आई एम वेयर आई मतलब थ्रू माय वर्क इफ आई फील दैट आई एम being authentic and I am being of value to others and at the same time something in me is also growing, तो वो मुझे मीनिंगफुल वर्क लगता है. तो पर हाँ, ये मनी जैसे मेरे लिए है ये इशू कि अच्छा मुझे इतना बेसिक तो चाहिए ही चाहिए फॉर माय सर्वाइवल और फॉर और मतलब, और उसमें मुझे वो नहीं है कि ओ आई नीड टू हैव एवरीथिंग और मुझे इतना ज्यादा कमाना है. मुझे हाँ, पर थोड़ा फॉर अ कंफर्टेबल डिसेंट लिविंग मुझे हाँ, आई नीड टू बी सेल्फ सफिशिएंट इन दैट. तो वो मेरा स्ट्रगल है. हाँ, कि मेरा मीनिंगफुल काम और इन दोनों चीजों को, हाँ जो मेरी ये डिजायर है, इनको एक साथ कैसे लाया जाए.
Hmm.
एक क्वेश्चन ऐसे ही आ रहा है, like once again that question for the fire, like ये this whole supposing there is kind of a need for money, and I'm simply thinking aloud at that question. Then so supposing ऐसे सोच रहा हूँ कि अगर मुझे ऐसा लगता तो मैं बहुत इजीली मैं ऐसे जाके अच्छा मुझे पैसे की जरूरत है तो जाके कुछ भी करके कमा के ले आता हूँ, बिकॉज दैट इज माई नीड. व्हाई कांट आई go out and fulfill the need for money by doing work, and why would I wait to have it also कि वो वर्क पैसा भी लाना चाहिए और मीनिंगफुल भी होना चाहिए, ऐसा क्यों? It's more like that, it's a kind of a question of wonder and not from a judgment. It's like opening up कि ऐसा क्यों है, जरूरी है, ऐसा हमको क्यों लगता है, हो सकता है, that those kind of questions.
But Gagan, I think if I'm again sensing it, that I do share. I mean, I shared one thing, and that was around what you and Biren feels or don't feel that. The second sensing I have is the contrast of values in terms of what I was hearing when what you said. I also go through that personally, and so for example, I'm sure you're a very capable person, right? And if you have an opportunity, you could have stayed put in the work opportunity uh, which you left uh, because of something which happened, right? I don't know whether if I may say that there are clash of values, maybe you can correct it.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, you're
you
right.
know, but there is something which happened which made you take the decision, right? And I'm saying that within that, there seems to be a pecking order for us as an individuals that yes, I need money, but I also need this. That and I'm saying that when there are these two different like Biren Bhai is saying that okay, if I need money, I'll go and do anything. Now, yes, I think that's a pertinent question to ask. That in current times, Gagan, that's literally love food on the table. I'm using it as a metaphor. If that is how our work is going to be, that it's literally food on the table, then how we are going to start looking at, I mean, the questions, I think I'm asking too many questions clubbed together, and I hope you'll able to separate them. And I think somebody else has joined as well. Preeti has joined, yeah. So hi, Preeti. So just stay put and just hear what the conversation, and please jump in as you kind of feel connected to what is that we are talking. I think you will get it. So Gagan, for me, the question is that how do we navigate in terms of is it right that there is a sort of a clash of values, and that's the reason we are not doing the kind of work which is so easily will give us our bread and butter. And if that is happening, then like what is that you are ruminating at your end? Like what are you feeling right now as we speak in this battle?
Can I, before Gagan speaks, तूने बोला कि like I was feeling that अगर पैसा है, जरूरत है तो जाके ऐसा क्यों नहीं कर सकते? It's not a feeling, I'm kind of questioning because I can actually, if I look at myself, then yes, अभी immediately तो ऐसा लगता है कि हाँ, वो ऐसे कुछ भी तो थोड़ी कर सकते हैं. But I'm opening up, I'm questioning because this is like I'm doing it for myself.
Right,
So
right.
it's a questioning, and
True,
questions always help.
true, true. No, I completely agree, Viren bhai. That's indeed. I think I'm with you on that. I'm completely with you on that. Opening up it. Yeah.
Yeah, it has set me also to think uh, deeply over this, but I don't have any answers right now, Darpan.
Hmm. So I mean, if you are okay with it, sharing like what could have been the reason for you to leave something which was comfortable, where your needs have been met, and I will also like to share like for me what could have been the reason, and I'm just saying that is there a lesson for some of us in that what happened in the past? Are there some learnings which we can take collectively? Uh, is what my sense is, and we can also say that there is no need to look at the past because the past is of no use. That is also equally a valid point.
So, if I have to look back at what the situation was, I think the only learning is that if I'm experiencing clash of values or not feeling fully connected to what I am doing, so how do I actually navigate this rather than choosing to withdraw from it? I mean, now it's easier to say this, but when you are there in the grip of the situation, things are different. But I can only look back and reflect that, oh, maybe I should have, if I would have kept uh, this concern in greater focus, that okay, maybe I'll be able to last 6 months after this, but then what beyond that? I mean, although for this year the plan was set, I was supposed to join a fellowship in Bangalore, but that has got cancelled. So otherwise, things were still on track. Yeah.
So was
Oh,
that
Darpan,
fellowship?
there is one question. Like,
Yeah, I
I
just
just,
have a question. I
what?
wanted to
Please
ask
go ahead.
Gagan.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can come back to me. I'll share that. My question.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to know, Gagan, did that fellowship was also going to take care of your monthly finances? Were they paying you some sort of honor area?
No, no.
Okay, 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 Biren bhai, you were saying something.
Yeah, it was more about this format, and I'm just wanting to align myself because maybe I assumed something or something. But is there any kind of a way that we are approaching the dialogue here, conversation here? One is that we simply kind of share and look at things. We are digging for information. क्या हो रहा है? The other is, like you said, what are the lessons? That's another. अगर देखें, so it's more like um, thinking, which is kind of oriented in some ways, practical oriented. या ऐसा. Yeah, it is a mix. कुछ भी हो सकता है ऐसा. I suddenly felt when you were saying about lessons, immediately I lessons अभी तो digging का complete नहीं हुआ है, तो lessons तो बाद में करेंगे ना. And then I suddenly realized that that would put me in some ways a little away from this conversation. So for me to join, I just needed to kind of know, and anything is okay, but I have to know it. So if there is anything that is there, it might not have been clear also, like to.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, the intention can also change. For me, the intention is that it's being set by the people who are joining the topic one, uh, and primarily it's driven by everyone. I don't know whether you read the whole thing which I just shared with you.
I
That
did.
it is not driven by me, and it's not. I'm just sharing the intention, and just like a Baithak would be, where people are sitting, and we are exploring this. I really don't know what are the next
Yeah.
steps. These are some questions which I just shared with you, the flow. but this flow has nothing to do with what I mean, it's not my intention to have this flow. So I'm just shared the document. And if we are not feeling that the flow is needed, and we go to keep the spirit of Baithak and explore. So I'm happy if there's anything which you're feeling emerging, please share, because it's completely literally a Baithak.
Yeah. I get it. Now I'm feeling more back in the flow. Because it just maybe just sharing the question itself was enough to open up. वो पहले लग रहा था मैं यहाँ जा रहा हूँ, conversation वहाँ जा रहा है. So it just opened up, and that's quite okay. जहाँ भी जाए, so it's more like whatever can happen. Just that I'm noticing because of what came up is I'm noticing maybe I was, or maybe I'm still more partial towards just looking at things so that information comes up and not rushing into lessons. But it might not necessarily that is true. अपने आप शायद चला भी गया होगा अभी, वो पता चलेगा next as the conversation goes.
Yeah.
And if it is there, where is, yeah.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
also it's pretty much an invitation to jump in at any point of time, share, and just feel whatever is happening emerging from this. And I can also share, I'm feeling like, for example, I'm feeling very little stressed about this topic, because I think somebody can mute their microphone. I think there is some sound which is coming. Is that I can sense that I'm also feeling what Gagan just shared, that how do I make a plan now that I at least have a 6 month of order or the work which I'm doing. So I don't know like what's going to happen. So we are all navigating together, and we're going to figure out what does it mean, what is the meaning of meaningful work as for me as an individual, and we as a collective. So yeah, I'm so sorry, Preeti. I hope you are not feeling lost in, and the Martin who has joined. Martin is a dear friend. I hope some of you can also put on your video, because if you have the bandwidth, so that we can see some of the faces who have joined. And if somebody can just share the chat link again, so that Martin has some idea of. So
I'll do that.
Preeti and Martin, yeah, Preeti and Martin, I guess you guys can also share. The idea of a Baithak, as I was just sharing, was primarily we don't know what's going to happen. It's just a people sitting with each other and just exploring one thing. So, Martin and Preeti, maybe you can also share now, as you have heard some part of the conversation, that like what does the meaningful work means in current times, and possibly the current times, maybe the future also. And let's open it up and see where the flow takes up, and what happens next.
Yeah, so what attracted me to this Baithak that is happening right now is the brief that you had sent. It really resonated with me when it said meaningful work. So I thought, yes, why not explore this? As a person, I look for work that is meaningful for me, and also with the people I'm working and for the people. So that is what resonated with me, and I thought it'll be nice to learn from others' experiences. How are they attracting meaningful work during these times, and what does it mean in today's times to have meaningful work? So just hearing your conversation with Gagan and Biren, for me it was really a challenge for the month of April, May, and in the month of May it was such a situation that I have been paying my bills and everything through my savings, and they were exhausting because I had my EMIs running as well. why am I connecting this with something like meaningful work? Because all through my career, most part of my career so far, it's so important for me to enjoy my work, to have meaning. And now it was a question of paying the bills. So what is it that I should do? So May is the month when I started getting into the action mode, not compromising on this meaningful work thing, because somehow I won't be able to deliver. But I would do it pro bono. I would do it for free. Why I did that, I think there's something subconscious that I need to dig, but it worked for me. It worked for me because I enjoyed what I did. I think the energies that you get when you start to enjoy your work, I think that was something, at least that box got checked, you know. But was it giving me income? No. So then back to square one. But I started opening up to other ways of attracting both meaningful work also and you know, in material remuneration compensation also. And that took a bit of time. Why I'm saying that took a bit of time, I had huge mental blocks around doing virtual sessions. I really had to work hard on it. And unknowingly I was seeking support. And today, in the month of June, and no, not June, July, it is a choco block calendar, and it is till mid-August. Yes, mid-August it is filled. And what kind of trainings are these? I mean, I don't know. I never thought I'll share this story with you, but somehow subconsciously I was looking for someone who could relate to these stories and I would share it. So maybe that's why. So
Totally.
I'm surprised. These are the same clients who have hired me in the past repeatedly for offline trainings, and they do not want to compromise on the duration of the training. They do not want to compromise on the quality of the training, and they have just entrusted that thing on me. Now, I was not very sure whether I'll be able to do justice or not, but I accepted it. I just accepted it. I really had to work on getting myself trained on virtual facilitation tools, and I worked a little hard. I will say that. I worked day and night on redesigning, remodeling the entire structure, architecture of the training design. And now 2 of the projects are now running simultaneously in the month of July. So meaningful work, yes. And thankfully now some money is started pouring in my savings account. And I was thinking of encashing one of my fixed deposits, because there was no money left in the account, and bills pay करने हैं, EMIs भरनी है. पर अभी वो FD को हम नहीं टच करेंगे, अभी थोड़ा पैसा आ रहा है.
I think we all have to be mindful. Martin doesn't understand Hindi.
Oh yeah. Oh, Martin, I'm so sorry. I have this habit of bringing in some bit of Hindi in between. Yeah.
No problem. I'll break into Irish.
Oh. Okay. We'll learn some bit of Irish.
And we will all be doing translation. There are different languages. I see somebody again. Yeah, please. Continue. Sorry, please. Yeah.
No, so the last few things I said in Hindi language was that now, I'm blessed with some meaningful work, as well as pouring in of finances as well at the same time. you know. What is going to happen after these projects are over? I don't know yet. And do I need to know? Maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know. But there's a huge learning. There's so many learnings in these time. One of the learnings has been that I am taking one day at a time, and sometimes I'm taking 1 week at a time, and 1 month at a time. तो मैं ले नहीं रही अभी, मैं नहीं ले रही. I'm just taking in small chunks that how did this day go? How is the next week planned for me? And that is how, otherwise I get very anxious. Otherwise it's difficult for me. So, so yeah, I mean, that is what I had to share. I'll take a pause here.
Fabulous, fabulous. I have so much to ask. Maybe Martin would do that, and Martin also will love to share. And Uri, I guess, in case you heard the conversation, maybe you can also join in later on. But yeah, Martin, thanks, Preeti. It was such a fabulous. I think all of us have a lot many more things to learn and ask question, and maybe we will do that once we hear from Martin as well. And yes, dear Martin, please.
Hi, and hi everybody else. Sorry for being late. I was waiting on Google Meet, so there were 2 options, and I was hanging out.
Sorry.
And then it finally said, nobody's letting you in, so go away. So then I saw there was a Zoom opportunity. Anyway, it's a fascinating question, and I have to say I hadn't given it consideration, but I think it's a wonderful question, and oftentimes a good question is really the important thing. Asking the right questions leads us in the right direction. So thank you for asking that question. I'm not sure I'm well educated to give a good answer. I have kind of made enough money earlier in my career doing the conventional things, and then I had a kind of, oh, that's not a good way to be earning a living. So I had my road to Damascus conversion, and thereafter it was a move from preoccupation with me to the we and becoming more a social entrepreneur. But I think, yeah, that's where the real fulfillment lies, in doing something that is valuable in a wider social context. And that started with climate change, it started with the Irish language, and it's now started with transforming the education system, albeit in a very small context, which is Ireland. But that's very satisfying to be doing that kind of work. What I discover is there are not enough hours in the day nor days in the week to be doing all the work that needs to be done in the social we space. So it's very satisfying in itself, but one needs to be careful that you could burn out from overdoing it, particularly when so much material like webinars, Zooms are available online. So to come back to your question, yeah, I think we're in a moment when we may be moving in many parts of the world towards basic income, where everybody is just paid irrespective of what they do. And then that allows people to begin to examine, what do I really want to do? And I love the comment, I think it was in your Google page, about being like nature, where every part of the ecology has a part to play. So it becomes a question of finding the part in the ecology where I have a part to play, but also being realistic. In the world as it is, we have to earn a crust as well, unless you've already made it, as maybe partially I have. So I'm less concerned with that right now. But for most people, one has to match, one has to balance doing what is valuable socially with what is capable of earning a living. So that's an interesting, I think we're in a very interesting transition point where people will increasingly ask what it is to live a good life. And that could be a fundamental question for education. What is it to lead a really good life? So maybe I'll shut up at that point and leave my reflections, because I'm new to the question, but I think it's a wonderful question.
No, please, I think do share. I think the whole idea, I just wanted to share just in case people who joined late. This is not facilitated by me. It's a holding together, and the whole idea of such an amazing conversation can happen. Those who are unfamiliar with the word Baithak, I think Baithak is almost now. I would say I haven't heard this word Baithak in, from a long time. I don't know whether those who are Indians have heard. I think lot of you may agree with me. And so in the Baithak is basically people sitting around and they're actually having fun, but while discussing something something which is very relevant and prominent. And there is no one person who kind of is like Martin facilitating. And so therefore we are all willing to jump in. We all will design. The document is just one of the things which I felt maybe that will give a flow, but we can completely delete, add, modify, and let's take the conversation where it is going. And then, so therefore, if there is anything anyone feels like sharing, please do that. And so anything else, Martin, which was coming to you, if you please, if you feel like sharing that. Martin, you're on mute.
Hi, Darpine. I'm just taking a phone call, so I've muted myself, so apologies. And it's in Irish, just to share. If you're speaking Hindi, I can speak Irish. So apologies for a moment.
No sweat.
Darpan, you are on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Gagan. So Shreyoshi has joined. I think Shreyoshi could also add eventually, maybe right now also, what is that if something is coming to you with whatever you heard, maybe from Preeti, Martin, or from us, anything which is coming to you, which is calling you to be here, and if there is any clarification, any question, or any answers which you are willing to share, please go ahead and do that.
I'm right now just absorbing because this format is very new to me, and I'm just trying to familiarize myself with this kind of a sharing circle. So, so right now I'm in a state of absorbing experiences, and I'll probably take some time to mull over it before I can share something of my own.
Sure. Anything else? Maybe Viren, Gagan, anything which is coming from for you guys?
I not about this circular group or better, but I sent Preeti. I sent you a private message. It was more about what she shared. And it was not pertaining to the group, so I sent a private message. If you can look at it, that's it. Yeah, for the sake of the group,
Check the message and I've responded as well.
Okay. Yeah, it was more that I was so intrigued by her story that I said I would like to talk more about that. Yeah.
Sure, anytime. Would love to.
Preeti, you have inspired me also.
Same here.
Oh, thank you.
Preeti, if you don't mind, maybe Viren, what question do you have? Any question which is coming to you which Preeti can answer so that we all can learn? I think I will also love to learn. And
I was what I had suggested to her was I would like to have an interview with her. So it would be a completely different space from which I'm coming. I can record that and share that if she's okay with it with the group.
Right.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
We could do that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I don't know whether Gagan, you also resonates with that. I think I'm just feeling that there was one question which was coming to me when you spoke, and I kind of kept it on hold, and it feels with what Martin and Preeti has just shared. That one of the thing which I think I am feeling right now, maybe again I'm sensing this while in this conversation, is a relationship with money and work together has certainly a role to play. In some cases, some people have X relationship, somebody has a Y, and somebody has a Z. But I think there it's like a quadratic equations of two variables where the work and the money are, like how the equation is equal to what will be the answer or what will be the sum total of it. That that variable has a role to play is what I am sensing in this. Maybe I'm just feeling pretty because I feel that you kind of have cracked it in some form. Maybe if I'm okay, and then we all can chip in into this. Do you feel that this analogy is correct? You feel you can relate to this analogy of a equation and two variable where one variable is work and the second is money, and there is some sort of a correlation. How do we crack this? Because somehow I think my relationship with money has been really conflicted. I'll be honest with you, because I was coming from this space, that work is seva. So meaningful work. When I'm talking about so seva, Martin means or anyone who doesn't understand seva. Seva means you're doing it because it's like a God's work. I mean, if I'm able to use that, it's like you're doing it because there's some sort of you feel satisfied, you feel so satisfied. And how can I ask for money, right? And so, Preeti, I'm just sensing that how do we come out of this conflict? How do we have this relationship that we say, oh, this is needed, and what did you do? Like, what are the things which you do? I mean, it sounds like alchemy to me at some level.
It is. You are so right. It is an alchemy. And half of the things that perhaps we all are, including me. I mean, I haven't really done anything extraordinary. First, I'd like to admit here. I was in a stuck position. I was in a stuck energy in the month of May and partly in June as well. I wanted to get out of the energy, and partly you have answered the question. The first thing you said, my relationship with money, that opens the door, and at least it opened it for me. I used to have this argument, no, discussion. Start with the discussion with my mom every other night about how are we going to manage. Tell me something. How are we going to manage? Where is the money going to come from? This and that. Which FD should I encash? What are other plans? And because I haven't done so many virtual trainings, and I'm used to the other trainings, and I don't know anything about it. So all these things. Now, suddenly I came across this webinar on relationship with money. Now, because you brought this up, I remember I really got this spark of inspiration and energy, and I opened up my windows there. Not that I haven't been exposed to the relationship with money before, but I somehow could not dig into that earlier knowledge or wisdom. This webinar again helped me do that. So how we do it? So coming to the other thing, you said quadratic equation and variable. Money is the byproduct, according to me. I don't need to focus on money. Money will come. I want to speak this line in Hindi. Please help me translate this. पैसे का काम है आना. पैसे का काम है आना. Which means in English, I'll tell you. In the equation of cause and effect, this is what that guy said. In the equation of cause and effect, money is in the effect. And I was like, how does it work? This is how it works. The more quality of your work you will increase, even if you have this intention of service, like you said, God's work, the more quality of work you will increase, the more value in terms of worth of money it will increase in the market. This quality of work that you are increasing is nothing but increasing your self-worth, increasing your self-esteem, increasing your worth in your eyes. So those are, and in addition to that, there were other points as well, but I remember that I'm sharing this. So I started working on those areas. I started focusing on how can I deliver work that will be meaningful to others. Let me just not focus on money. I started giving free workshops to children, to teenagers, to other groups where I can do it. And I designed from the scratch, just like I would do to a training program that would fetch me, let us say 20,000 per day or 30,000 per day. I know there's a whole lot of, that goes into it. I was willing to do that. And then the other things that I started doing was I started learning, talking to other people, what are they doing? So the other areas quickly I did was started marketing the way it is required in today's time. Again, marketing is one area I don't do it happily. I don't know. It's my willingness there. I just don't do it happily. It's like if somebody recommends my work, well, good enough. But I said no. Let me just change the energy here as well. And the third thing I did was. Third thing is not coming to my mind right now, but those are the things that I did without worrying about. Oh yes, third thing. Before any of these corporate projects came, I had designed my own workshop that I would now do it on an energy exchange basis. Now, this is something like holding an open workshop. That is one area, again, I'm not very willingly, I don't willingly do it. I won't put question to my competency there, but I don't quite enjoy announcing an open workshop and marketing it and calling people. But then I spoke to a few of my cousins and they suggested ideas that why don't you, now you've been doing free workshops, they are quite impressed, why don't you offer them this? So now entire rough draft was ready. And I was about to launch it in the next week. But before I could do this, two of my clients called in and said, we're looking for this work. Why? Because we saw you doing these virtual workshops with kids and teenagers. So it seems that you're already doing these things. So, we would like you to take up this thing. I was like, okay, why not? In my mind, I was thinking, with these other workshops that I haven't really done on a corporate level, this is a corporate client. I'll have to do a lot of hard work, redesign, restructure. I don't even know any virtual tool. So those are the things. But then I just took the plunge. I took the plunge because I've enjoyed doing these workshops in real life, in person. The transition had to happen onto virtual platform. So then I told myself that I am willing to put in that hard work. So, my response to your thing was, yes, relationship with money is one of the key areas. I think I didn't focus on money in that time. I just focused on giving my work, increasing the quality of my work. And then slowly and gradually, the next step was to, look in for some energy exchange coming in. Imagine that plan that I had put in place for doing my open workshop, that is still there. I probably can do that maybe in the month of August, last week, when I'm done with these projects. But just sharing with you how it all worked.
I want to ask you a question. Hi, I'm Shreyoshi.
Hi. You mean me? You want to ask me?
Yeah. So
Yes.
my point here is that moving away from what you were offering for free to a point where you got a corporate client who was a paid client. Uh, Essentially, this transition happened because you made yourself available to money, right? Like in the sense that you wanted that exchange to take place in your mind first before it could happen in physical, right? Like you wanted somebody to pay for you for your services. Like you were comfortable with the idea of being paid for something that you were adding value to somebody's life. Correct? So my point is that isn't that the central tenet of any exchange to take place, where you have to first accept it at a mental level that, okay, I want this to happen, then only that can happen. I mean, you cannot be talking about money and work without and saying that, oh, I don't want money in my life. I'm just trying to, I don't know if I'm clear or not.
Let me just break it up. So you're asking that we need to be first clear with the equation in our mind.
Exactly.
That, and then we manifest it in the outer world.
Exactly. So if you already decide for yourself that, hey, I come what come, hail come storm, I'm not moving away from a free workshop. If you believe in that in totality, and you have told yourself that whatever money comes away, you will shoo it away.
Very
right?
good. Yeah.
So if you don't accept it in your head, which means you did accept it, and which is why you were open to the fact that, okay, somebody comes my way, and also there was some challenge at your place which kind of allowed you to take it up willingly without resisting it, isn't it? So don't you think that for any such discussion to take place, first you have to accept it in your head that you want it for yourself? Like there has to be that want first.
Absolutely, yeah. That is how. So I apply some of the spiritual laws also here, and unknowingly, all of us are doing that. So you are quite right when you have said that. Yes, it needs to be very clear in our mind. What is it that we want? What is it that I'm looking for? Now, I want. What is it? I want meaningful work, and I want to get paid for it as well.
Exactly. My point is for people who, I just want to add one thing. Sorry, I'm just butting in because I'll just forget the chain.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying that that's my personal belief, and I'm really new to this concept of sharing, and I'm not at all familiar. And this is probably the second time I'm attending a session like this. And my understanding is that people, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who might be struggling as far as money is concerned for a fairly long period of time, for somebody who is educated, uh, decently educated, for having the ability to add value in somebody else's life, the challenge financially arises primarily because you have decided for yourself that you don't want the money. You have blocked the money in your life, not the money. And you're absolutely right that money happens if you want it, right? Like initially you said Hindi mein, although I don't know if it was a literal translation or not, but it made a lot of more sense that वो आता है, मतलब ये होता है अपने आप. So yeah, sorry, go ahead. Like this is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, absolutely right. You're absolutely right in noticing those minute points here. That also brings another point here. See, I was in a situation which was in inertia, blockage, inertia, right? Work, no work, and then the other money as well. I chose to focus on work.
Exactly.
I was focusing more on lack of money, lack of resources, lack of this. So law of energy, like energy attracts like energy, law of attraction. Wow. So I consciously shift the focus on work. What is it that I need to do to attract money? So what did I do? What is also required is what one of my lessons is, what I learned was that from inertia, I moved to movement. Some movement that happens in our body, that gets the energy going. You may not get the amount of money, the kind of money that you're expecting, okay. You may not get money at all, okay. But then you'll get something. And what is that? Satisfaction, fulfillment, the emotional, mental fulfillment of having been an instrument in of touching lives. So again, that is a byproduct. Let's understand that is also a byproduct. But what did I do? I got into the movement mode, energy movement mode. So then, of course, you got to be a little articulate as well, because how long can you do that? How long can you continue to offer free work? You need to question yourself these things. How long will you continue to uh, be without money that you expect? This is something that you need to ask yourself as well. So for that,
so I have a question to that. So what is your opinion as far as and I am actually asking this question particularly because I've had this discussion with Darpan many times on this. What is your opinion on, and pardon my way of expressing it, because I'm a student of economics. I have been an economist for 10 years and a strategy management consultant. I have always worked in hyper commercial entities. Okay, what is your sense of offering your services as far as gift economy is concerned? Don't you think that in the scheme of things that we are in, as much as it might seem uh, utopian, if that's the word, can we really have that for our day-to-day needs of survival?
I think what we are doing right now is gift economy.
I'm talking about this is something that you may be enjoying, but is this what you do every day, every minute of your life?
We don't need to do gift economy every day, every minute of our life.
I'm sorry. I will rephrase my question. Can this pay your bills?
Are you asking this question only to Preeti or to everyone?
Let others also please pitch in.
Actually, sorry, this is an open question. Sorry, I was not really.
I'm not saying.
I mean,
No,
I thought.
I'm not saying. Yeah, no, Preeti. I'm not Shreyoshi and Preeti. I'm not saying that because I think I'm sensing that Preeti, that this is a really fabulous conversation, and I'm all ears. I'm just saying that I'm just asking because in case everybody is part of it, it's a better. So
yeah, I'm actually. I want to
others
hear.
Also can pitch in.
It's a lovely question. No, Preeti, please go ahead. I think that's a very good question. Even I would love, because I had this conversation with her, and I think you are also familiar with these terms which are called gift economy, energy exchange, sliding scale. These new terminology of economics, which has kind of entered our common parlance of how we are. I mean, I don't know if we can call ourselves from an alternative and the mainstream kind of a debate, but I think it's a good question. So I would love to know what do you feel about it, and yeah, others can chip in if they want to.
I don't have any thing to share, but I have a question. I would first like to actually listen to Shreyoshi because it seems that she does have some idea about this or her take on this. So if you can start with that, that would help you to kind of.
So I don't think I have an answer. I mean, of course, I'm exploring. Uh, my conventional education is something that I have tried to challenge uh, in my personal space more often than not. I mean, I'm actually building a social impact startup to revive indigenous performing arts of South Asia. Now, nobody, nobody really is working for the indigenous performing arts, and we are thinking of integrating them in education and mental health space. Uh, what I'm doing right now with them is, I get the sense that if I really have to believe in the word of gift economy, honestly, that's what we're doing, because we are investing in our artists. We are doing crowdfunding for them because they're affected by COVID. Uh, we are supporting them in every way possible, and we are, of course, not uh, all that we are getting out of this is we are take there is gratification. But I want to understand from everyone here that, because this is the discussion that one and I have had couple of times, that if if we want to believe in this greater good, where things can happen just by if we believe in this gift economy, and the fact that we also know that we can't pay our bills using this sense, then what is the way out?
Yeah, also just Gagan and anyone, I think we can extend it till 9:30. But yeah, meanwhile, I think we are just warming up. And if anybody wants to stay put, you're more than welcome. If anybody wants to leave, you're more than welcome. We all can decide on our own. So yeah, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm just sharing that so that it's clear. I just want to say that I also don't. I feel this is a very tricky one for me. I must share this. I get pulled in different places, and in case Biren Bhai, the question master, and I think it's a good. I think if she can also share a little more on this, that uh, because at one level for me is that yes, you can't pay right now for the gift economy, but then you also want to be in gift economy with the work, because I feel it's of service and I also need money. So it's a pull in the two directions, and I feel at one level, I think it's a journey with more clarity. The answers will emerge, uh, but yeah, I think I will like to pause there.
I guess one thing is coming up for me to share, uh, and that is that when I'm contemplating, what I try to do, or what I do, is that I go, I look at the words, like supposing it's gift economy. Okay. So rather than, now that word would have a definition and it would be sitting in my head in some ways. And I would try to actually imagine that gift economy without the word gift economy. So it takes me more to the real space inside my mind. So of course, imagination is there, but it is based on experience. And it helps me to, uh, at least if not break the boundaries of the word, sit on the boundary of whatever I define um, gift economy as, in terms of language. So I try to look at it more in terms of real terms, like process. What does it mean? What is happening? Something like that. And then that helps me uh, to kind of make sense, because for me, whenever I'm contemplating, I realize that the words have a definition, and definitions definitely have a kind of a boundary. That's the and those boundaries we are not aware of. So yeah, that's what came up for me to share. That rather than words, what does it really mean for me when I'm looking at in what I call as gift economy, and then other components I can kind of make sense or connect.
No, I was not saying anything. I thought Preeti was saying something. You're on mute.
I was saying something, yeah. If I were to ask Bireen, what does gift economy sound like in your mind, if you're comfortable sharing?
I'm very confused. For me, the word itself just makes me go into a busy. That how do I actually define, and then I have to depend upon people how they are defining it. Then it can make sense. For me, without a word, what helps me to see is in terms of how things go in nature. Things flow in nature. There are certain exchanges happening. Yeah, and So whenever I'm looking at any transactions happening in our human world, I try that is the basis for me to understand. Then I can start making sense. So for me, like money is, if it is flowing, let's say um, I'm trying to see how I can actually convey this from my way of looking at it, so that it is more graspable. Okay. So see, nature has certain ecosystems, and those ecosystems, they are like ensconced in one another, like fractals or holograms. There's a small, like a tree is an ecosystem in itself, and then it has got something surrounding it, then that's an ecosystem. And there's a larger ecosystem then. And then the whole thing would make up an Amazon rainforest or Sahara desert. And those all come together and make the planet Earth, something like that. So it's those kind of a hologram, not concentric circles, but holograms. Now, if we take that to human beings, I am an individual, I am an ecosystem, and so is my family. So let us jump to the family ecosystem. Now, in the family, there is no exchange of money happening. There is something else. So each ecosystem has got its own components. But that family or that ecosystem, when it has to engage with some other ecosystem, the money might or might not come. Let's say, for example, this family and various of my families is coming together as a samaj. Once again, there is no money exchange. So it depends upon the ecosystems. And for me, then everything starts making sense, So for me, there is nothing like gift economy versus economy. It just, I just can't make any sense. It overloads my computer, I go. Does that help, Preeti?
Oh, yeah, I think it's profound.
Thank you so much.
I think that's profound. You by explaining, the concept of ecosystem, you've kind of defined your perspective on gift economy. I like that somehow.
I'd like to ask a question, because it's very difficult to sometimes sense how the Baithak is going online. How you're sensing, how we are moving with this, however we are moving in this Baithak.
Your question is not clear. Or,
And who are you asking? Generally, everyone?
Yeah, I'm asking generally that are we moving? Is there a movement which is okay for us, or if there is some other thing which is emerging for you? You're feeling that this is where the movement has to be. Please share that so that we can move in that space.
I think what you are trying to say, you're asking all of us to check whether wherever this conversation is going, is it, are they feeling in tune and sync, or would they want to change something or bring something? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I mean, if it is feel that we are not moving, I as an individual, then please call out and share what you feel. Otherwise, I can also have something which I can offer. But this is, for me, it's going well. I mean, personally. Thanks, Gagan. Okay. So, Shreyoshi, I have a question. Do you feel that Gagan, I know you're. I hope we can all have dinner one day, and that will be our work.
Yes, for sure.
You mean to say dinner
I'm-
one day or dinner made by him one day?
Yeah. So, yes,
Most
we'll
welcome. Yeah.
let's Gagan, we will go. Yeah, what is that?
Post
Go
our
cooks
dinner.
or
Cook,
cooks.
cook.
Don't make it virtual, okay?
Go ahead.
Darpan, let it not be very virtual.
Yeah. Right.
Viren
Right.
bhai, let's bond the kripa. Whatever God proposes, man disposes. Oh, I don't know
A
what is the
question.
saying. Yeah, I think one I have.
I'll catch up with all of you
Yeah,
in the next call. Yeah. Bye.
sure. Bye, Gagan. Bye. Thanks a lot. And
Bye.
this
Bye.
being
Thank you.
this being recorded, we'll share the recording and as well the chat. Maybe if somebody can download it, and the document also we'll harvest it and we'll put as many pointers. I've taken some notes. Yeah, no, before I say something, I was saying that Shreyoshi, that what did you feel? I was just feeling that what did you feel when Preeti shared what that she kind of resonates with this whole ecosystem idea? What is your feeling? What Virendra talked about, and what is your now reflection on that?
I think it made a lot of sense. Like it allows us to put in perspective, uh, how in what zone we are operating, and how we kind of connect, like how different ecosystems are, transacting. If I were to use that word, I mean, one way or the other, there is some kind of transaction happening. It's either a knowledge transaction, financial transaction. I mean, one may not like it, but there is some exchange happening at the end of the day. So I really liked what Preeti mentioned before we started discussing this, that you can't think about work and money and whatever, liking and enjoying and anything, unless and until you put your focus on adding value. And I think that is the crux of, I mean, and probably anything that we are doing, like do whatever but do it well. Whether there is and money kind of comes with it. That that singular focus on adding value, I think, solves most of the discontentment and the challenges that most people face with regards to getting money from work. And most people don't put their energies on adding value. I mean, it is so, this focus is so diffused that that since the energy is so diffused, that they keep thinking, they are in this illusion that they sell themselves, that we are adding, we are adding value. We are, we are busy, we are working hard, because every day is crossing by. We are passing by months, years, but still nothing really gets added, nothing really gets created, nothing. And at the end of the day, there's no money. So, because there is no singular focus drive to adding value, and really taking the quality of work one notch by the other every time, that this constant psychological illusion that, oh, we are working, I'm adding value. I mean, who are you adding value? Like, you have to ask the people you are adding value that, are you satisfied with what I'm doing? And you have to, it's a feedback loop. I mean, once you add value, it's not that, "Acha, ho gaya mera kaam, chalo." You provide that thing, and then you ask them, okay, does it solve your problem? Does it really allow you to reach your goals? Have I been instrumental in taking you from point A to point B in whatever journey? It could be psychological. I might be learning how to do meditation for all that time. Care. I mean, right now we are also building programs where we are actually thinking of using skills from performing arts as to, break it down into some kind of tangible skills, because most people may not be interested in performing arts. So how do we really make sense of what value that in general as a skill, what are the things that one can learn from it? And if that is something that one can latch on to, we can ensure sustainability of arts by that. So, but then we'll have to really work hard on adding value, singular focus on that. And then we know that money will happen because somebody will latch onto it, because it makes sense, because it is needed, and it's a 21st century skill, all that falls into place. So, but I think at no point will I ever do it that, okay, I have made this product, service, I know I'm the master of it, my job is done, I will sell it to schools, ho gaya mera kaam. I will always at every juncture, I will have a feedback loop wherein I, take opinion of my customer, client, audience to see whether they're gaining anything out of whatever we are providing, and then feed it back to this, ourselves as well as our artists to improve more for the next time. I don't know if this makes sense, but this is what really.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think you paraphrased so very well. And if we are recording it, I'd like to hear it one more time. How you have,
Yeah.
collected the essence of it, and of course added your own, perspective to it. But it is quite in sync with what I was sharing, and Biren also added his perspective.
Yeah, so my sense is that I really don't think this equation, as the one was mentioning, can be really fixed if we don't have this. I mean, actually, I draw this kind of understanding from, as much as we may be uncomfortable with the fact of, a lot of people say that, oh, capitalism has ruined it. I mean, these phrases make no sense to me, simply because you have to borrow whatever value each and every individual brings onto the table. That could be an entrepreneur who's a multi-billion dollar entrepreneur, or for that matter, even somebody who is just cleaning a utensil. I mean, there has to be some value that each individual, whoever is adding with full intent and full focus, you have to draw that skill across the board. And if there is something that I keep reading on across all entrepreneurs, is that the singular drive and singular focus. You pick one thing but do it well, like to the T, and then automatically and then drive the whole ecosystem around you to get working, get cracking for it. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, this constant uh, disenchantment regarding ki, oh ho, matlab, I'm working hard. I mean, we keep hearing this, right, more often than not. Oh, I've been putting so much effort, nothing is working. I mean, of course, there is a continuum and it's a function of time. Something takes more time, something takes less time. We all know that. But if you are doing the same thing again and again and again without any clarity, without any, checkpoints, अच्छा ठीक है, एक महीने में I will check myself, have I improved from day one from what I was doing? If not, then I will change my course. Have I improved something? Am I moving towards earning money? And like I said, that I think what comes to my mind is that you have to first accept the fact that you want money. Without that acceptance, I don't think it can happen. Like it's like a fool's paradise. Like, how can you want money without wanting money? It's really weird. So, like, I'm really clear. Like, a lot of people, when we are working on performing arts, people think that, oh, she's doing charity, oh, NGO. Like, coming from Deloitte and Ernst and Young, charity is the last thing on my mind. My singular focus is there a way that we can make work on sustainability, and we want to sustain the arts, the communities, and really make them utilitarian. We are actually changing mindset as we are doing this. I mean, I know I'm digressing from the core of this discussion, but I mean, what I was trying to say was that it's a lot of behavioral understanding of acceptance more than I think. I mean, without that, I don't think this equation can really work. Is my sense. Like, we are telling our artisan partners that you have to look at yourself differently. You can't keep yourself as stage entertainers. If you don't see value in yourself, how will you add value to anyone else? And we realize that most artists don't realize that they have any value. They just think that they have something to offer on stage, and that's the end of it. They don't see that their art has healing powers. I have heard of educated artists telling me that their art has no healing powers. It's just so weird. So it actually happens. I think it's a mindset shift, and most of these artists are struggling with money. Most, I mean, rather all are struggling with money, simply because there is no clarity of what the equation is, like, whether they can add value. So yeah, I mean, I'm just harping the same thing again. Sorry.
No, it's quite interesting to hear, your thoughts, because you come from this, economic, background here, and that's not one of my strong areas, and I'm happy with that. I know what my strong areas are, so I rather focus on that. But it's so wonderful to hear your views and your perspective, because there's so much to learn from it. For example, I'm going back with the gift economy today. Those are my takeaways from you. I'm going back with capitalism. You mentioned about capitalism. I'm going back with the examples of artisans and partisans, and how they look at it, and the mindset shift that you're talking about, the ecosystem that, so that is sort of nudging me to open my windows towards uh, maybe accommodate these things, and increase my knowledge and awareness, and how it can help in my growth. Professional छोड़ो, personal growth में भी होए पहले, तो I can speak Hindi now, but I should stick to English.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was wonderful to
No, but I
connect
think,
with Shreyoshi.
yeah.
How you pronounce the word?
Yeah, I think you can speak in Hindi or English, because this recording would be available with the worldwide community, with Nuno, which is this program, we're part of the program, and
Oh, I
but yeah,
see.
but I think you are pretty much okay. It's Hindi is also equally fine. वो भी चलेगा.
Okay,
हाँ,
I'll
Miriam
be
bhai.
mindful.
Yeah.
I'll be mindful.
No, don't be comfortable. Hindi,
Achha.
English, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
हाँ, Miriam bhai.
I was listening to Yoshi, and it's a reflection what was going on in my mind. So in terms of the ecosystems that I shared, one more thing which I did not share that time but came is that we are like any other natural beings. Plus, we have a mind, and most of the times when we are going back to nature, we forget that. So there is something that we need to bring in also, and there is a transaction happening at the mind also. And what you shared made sense in that. So, like an animal or a tree or a bird, there is only transactional level. With human beings, because the mind comes and it is not yet integrated completely into one organism, the mind, like brain, you can consider that it has become a part of the nature or the form, but the mind itself has not. So, and we carry it. So the values that you were talking about, to me, it seemed okay. So this is the transaction that the mind needs. The body needs certain transactions, and when I talk about body, I'm talking in larger terms. Like money could be also a need of the body, indirect need, because the money brings something else. Yeah, and but the value that you were talking about, it suddenly made sense that to me in a way that okay, that brings the mind in alignment with the body. Okay, unless and until there's value, the mind cannot join the body. So transactions वहाँ पे होते. But the third most important thing that you said was you are changing mindset. Okay. Now, the money will, what I was saying was the money will come to you when you shift into an ecosystem where money is a part of the transaction. If you are not in an ecosystem where money is a part of it, there is no money that is going to come. And thankfully, we are not like animals. because of our minds, we can always shift that ecosystem we are in, not physically. But that's the beauty of the mind, that we can create those kind of ecosystems. And those ecosystems, changing of those ecosystems, or it's almost like a lion moving from one territory to another. This is happening more in the mind space. But to be able to do that, like what defines that ecosystem? There is something larger, the trees and birds coming together, but you have a sense of the forest, that it's a very strong, palpable sense that this is a forest. You can't see it. All you can see is the constituents, but there is a sense of that forest. And what makes that forest is also something that we need to do apart from the exchanges that we are doing. And the mindset that you are talking about is something like that, that you are, apart from the value that you bring directly, one of the unseen value of your work is to change mindset. So your whole effort to bring this the arts, traditional arts, into the world, even if it doesn't succeed, actually you might have succeeded in changing the mindset of the larger people, larger ecosystem, that arts is an inherent part of our lives and it is very important and valuable. And that also is a level of work, So we sometimes feel that हाँ ये मैं कर रहा हूँ, पर कुछ और भी हो रहा होता है. And when you say that you are changing mindset, it just fell into place for me. So I'm just kind of reflecting back to you what you said in terms of my model and how it makes sense to me. I'm not adding anything.
I don't know. I'm just feeling one other thing with what you're saying. I think I can sense that. I mean, I can sense that at that level. But the uh, but the present right now, or in presence right now, when I'm in presence of that, what is present is a constituent. And
That one I did not get the last word. What is present?
Constituent.
Constituent.
Can others hear me? Shreyoshi, Preeti?
Sorry?
Yeah.
You guys can hear me?
Yes.
Constituent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm saying that, but I can sense that overarching, the universal sense, which is what I think Virendra you are talking about, the sense of the forest. But within that forest, there's a constituent I'm part of right now, and that's what my current sense as of now is. And what happens is, if I'm not able to stay in that, which is what I think the conflict happens, is that seems to be the place I want to, but I'm also staying put in this constituent. And I think therein lies a kind of a challenge for us to sustain and live. Because I think there are two things which you talk about, which is money, which is a need of the mind, and
is the need of the body.
But the body, no, money is a need of the mind. Okay, maybe this is how
No.
Maybe you can clarify.
No.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I said body. It comes from the mind, because the mind has entered the human beings. The money aspect has come. In the sense, you have to see it in this way, that what the mind calls as money, for the body it is what you bring because of that.
Okay, yeah. Like food is needed. Okay.
Exactly. And thankfully to our minds, we don't have to go out into the forest and pick the fruit, Yeah, that's the whole thing. But it is actually based in the need of the. You don't need money otherwise. Of course, there are people who need money for the mind, but that we are not going there. Yeah, it
So
can become a
are you saying
psychological
that
need.
so are you saying that we just need the output for the body? The input is primarily is the mind's drive, like a driver.
Uh, n- the answer that is coming is no, but I don't know how to. There's a gap here, and I'm
No,
not
so
able to find that
no,
gap.
you were saying basically that I need food for to sustain my body, right? Like to survive, I need food. But to
Yes.
buy that food is emanating where? Who wants that? Is it the mind, or like mind says that okay, liquor or gets if because I can't, there is no barter system, so naturally I have to get something to transact the food for. So the
Hmm.
only currency is currency,
Yeah.
and that needs the money to work,
Yes.
unless we are in the job which uses body to get money, right?
Yes. Uh, this
So like white
includes
collar
that.
jobs and blue collar jobs difference.
Uh, I think we are also getting into a territory which is a little more complex or complicated. I don't know which.
Oh, sorry.
Uh, because money, like I said, it just came to me that it could also be a psychological need. And I'm seeing that in Corona times, that is actually falling away for many people. They are realizing, for example, oh yeah, मैं तो लाख, like I was earning 1 lakh rupees and I was not satisfied. अभी 50,000 हो गया है and I'm so happy. So suddenly they are seeing that those 50,000 extra was mine, but the 50,000 that they are receiving is actually of the body. So in that sense, I was saying it's a little complex.
Yeah. Okay.
But if
Yeah. Got it.
yeah, but if you keep it simple, then if I'm in the if I'm in a forest, then the mind will not say that you need money. That the true sense of the body need of my money. Okay, I'm not going into the psychological mind of that. That's a different area. I'm saying the essence of mind.
Yeah.
Uh, but if I'm not able to move into the forest and I move into the city, then mind says, okay, now if you want food, then can you see that you'll need money? And if you need money, you can do this. That's how the mind starts helping the body. If the mind and body are in sync, that's
Can I
the
add
that's the.
something to it?
Oh, please go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Viren, you were trying to say something.
No, all I was saying is this is I'm sharing this from the framework that I shared, ecosystem in nature. That's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for the mind and the body thing and bringing money into it, this is something that I learned, from in my life quite some time ago. Money, and I've experienced that as well. Money is a form of energy. Money is a form of energy. It's like you gave the example of barter system. We don't have that, and that's why we had that barter system, we were in a forest, we wouldn't need it. But we come to the city and then we need it. So what do you see money for as a manifestation? It's a rupee note, it's a paper, it's a rupee note, or it's coins. But it has value because it fetches you things. They could be things for the body, they could be needs of the mind as well. For example, uh, you know talking to a psychiatrist, you need money. It is not the psychiatrist or the psychotherapist or the counselor is not giving you any material thing for the body to eat or apply, but to the mind nourishment. So
Can
money.
I just add in so you can continue? I even when I'm going to a psychologist for my I meant that as a body. I'm just simply making it the framework more
Acha.
clearer to you.
Okay, okay.
It needs for my survival and safety. So because mind is a part of the body, but I'm taking that way. So that you understand in more in terms of my framework, not your. You don't have to. It's just that this for me that also is a part of the body. Even if I'm kind of going for there are pleasures and there are joys. So joys is body. Pleasures could come from mind. It's more psychological.
Oh, I see. So here perhaps there is some a difference here. I think my understanding here is a little different here. I do not consider mind as a part of body.
Yes,
I
yes. That's why
yeah,
I came in. Yes.
हाँ ठीक है फिर
In
ठीक
a way,
है
it is not there. It's just that
हाँ
with this framework, it makes much more sense for me when
हाँ
because for me, mind and body are integrated, But there are
हाँ
essence of it, both of brain, and this is how my framework helps me to make sense. I was just
okay okay
uh, transmitting more that rather than anything. Yeah.
okay okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's also something that I learned somewhere, and again that has also helped me shift my energies whenever I go into the lack mode, and perhaps it while
Lots of
might be useful here, and that is you know prosperity consciousness. All of us have a prosperity consciousness, just as we use the word consciousness for connecting or understanding other things. There's a prosperity consciousness that we all carry within ourselves, and prosperity consciousness. This came from Louise Hay. That's where I learned from, and I really resonated very well with it. She says, prosperity consciousness is not the amount of money you have in your bank. Prosperity consciousness is the amount of ideas you have in your head. And I latched onto it like anything. It completely changed my orientation towards money, my relationship with money. You may have a lot of money in your bank, but if you're not able to use that money, that gives you the ultimate thing for which we do most of the things, and that is happiness and peace and love and joy. Those are the ultimate things that the soul craves for. Then perhaps you'd like to, again, see what's the prosperity conscious. There may be people who do not have as much money in their bank account, but they are able to think of thoughts or ideas to use that much amount of money to bring that kind of happiness and peace and love and joy and satisfaction. That helped me a lot personally, so I thought I'll share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I would
makes
like to hear the name of the author, the book
Louise
again.
Hay. Louise Hay. I'll type
Okay.
it here in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually want to add to that. I mean, it makes so much sense because it just brings me back to the example of how WhatsApp came about. So WhatsApp didn't come because the founder wanted to really create a mass communication platform. The only reason for WhatsApp to come up was this guy. He's a migrant, Ukrainian migrant, who somehow managed to escape with his mom to US because of whatever the civil crisis which was happening in Ukraine, and he wanted to create a communication system which can bypass the witch hunting of the government through internet, and he wanted to communicate with his, I think, father, if I'm not wrong. And he wanted to create a system where people could connect, uh, especially war-torn places or in crisis, where places which have crisis. And that singular focus to create that value of building linkage is a multi-billion dollar, opportunity. Just that one problem to solve communication gap between family members to communicate without a hitch. So again, like, I think it's all, I mean, this is a really interesting conversation we are having.
Yeah. And we are way
But
past time, I think.
yeah. I think maybe, I mean, we can continue till 10. I mean, if you guys want to continue, please do that. But just a sec. And I think this is a fabulous conversation. I feel like I'm really getting enriched by a lot of notes. I One question I have. I think this question about with what I'm hearing is, does meaningful work and value. So I think the when uh, uh, when you shared about that the artist, don't feel value, right? There is a sense of like, what value am I adding, right? Now the question for me somehow is that is meaningful work is also about, is actually maybe is about value. Now hear me out. What is my proposition is the word value uh, is where the meaningful work, like the kernel of truth, kernel, like that's where the possible the solution lives, is that if I don't feel valued, if I don't get a value, then actually it's not meaningful work for me. So even the people who are doing such fabulous work, there is a sense of that value is missing, right? And that's where I'm asking a question, that the value in this case was money, right? But the inherent value could be anything. It could be the respect, right? Somebody, like I know a friend, she her parents runs a liquor shop, but somehow, you know what I'm saying, that the feeling of that value is not there, but there's money, right? So the question is about value. I feel in that work is seems to be one thing which I feel that somehow I'm trying to get into that space of the value. And the second aspect of it is that how do we create a space where I may not know that I have something valuable to offer, but how come this is all becoming about me? How come, like, why not Preeti would come and say, Darpan, you have some value to offer. I think you have some value to offer. They're a valuable thing. And how do we create that dialogue, for me is a question that how do I know everything about myself? I think that for me is not it's kind of a egoistic and arrogance. It's when collectively I feel we come together and I say, Biren, hi, you have this value to offer, or Martin, you have this value to offer, or Shreyoshi, you have this value to offer. Then maybe there is a perspective will shift. Is some of the things which I'm reflecting right now. Preeti, would you like to say something before you go?
You know what? This is getting so interesting with every next step that we are taking, and I really like to stay, but I need to go now. My mom is waiting for me at the dinner table. So I'm gonna have to take your leave now, and maybe get hold of the recording and enjoy the recording, perhaps.
Maybe I think let's just break it for another session, because I'm actually making dinner while doing this conversation.
Dinner time hai na sabka.
Yeah, so it's really late. So which is why I switched off the camera, because I'm in the kitchen.
Acha.
Yeah. I guess maybe Biren bhai, will you like to stay put, or what is that you're feeling?
You want to talk? I can, yeah. Then I can take my dinner also, because my wife just had hers, and I'll have to have mine. But we can talk. Yeah, if you want.
Okay. Okay. So I think maybe
You guys carry on, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that you guys want to say anything about what could be our next steps. I think we have a lot to cover. We could not cover, I think, even half of what is written for me, but then I've covered so much, and there is so much to just figure out in topic one itself. What would be the possible next steps, Preeti and Shreyoshi and Biren Bhai? And I'm also reflecting, what would be the next steps before you guys leave?
I think, like what Biren ji mentioned yesterday, that you cannot move out of a circle without accepting and admitting some task for yourself. So I think even if we carry on this discussion now or even later, one has to agree on what actionables one will do to move or improve from the situation that they are in. I mean, if they are in a like Preeti mentioned, in a situation where they're focusing on the lack, how do they move away from that? Or is there a shift in perspective that is needed? Or I mean, we'll have to think of something that can really ensure that this leads to a logical step rather than just a, like just a random discussion. That's my sense.
Yeah. And I would like to add that that same thing can be also be done for the group also. That, like in the sense that individually, this is where I would like to move, and actually committing, and that indirectly does help the group. But also, where do we want the group also to grow? So what are we? What
What
is
is
the
the
next step?
objective?
Yes, that way. Yeah. Thanks, Shiroshi. That was beautiful.
Makes sense to me.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
can we do it right now, at least for the group? Individual maybe probably
Yeah.
we can do it for ourselves, but uh, at least for the group, because all of us need to know. And
Yeah. I
yeah,
can I can go first. I can go first, Viren
yeah,
bhai.
please
I've
go ahead.
already,
Yeah, please. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
please go ahead.
so one of the things which I will like to do individually is that I will start looking at meaningful works, and I'm not saying it is equal to value, but I will certainly look at this much more closely than I have done. And I think in terms of really bring out that what is the true value I'm adding, rather than just doing stuff and really looking at, like, this feeling that I'm actually adding value. So I think I'll explore that. And for the collective, I would like to do this is that I think I would watch you guys closely, and each one of you, and also try to bring each one of you collectively come together and say, for example, oh, Preeti, I think this is one quality I feel that this is one value you have. Why don't you offer it? Why don't, like, there would be a deliberate effort from my side to do something. The individuals whom I know are on this journey, not just in this journey, but I think even outside the journey, I will make, I'll certainly make an effort in that direction. So these are my action areas.
No, what I meant by collective is this group. So you'll have to say something if there is that. Where do you feel that this group next? So when we are in the next call, it's almost like an agenda for the next call, something like that. Something shifting, also not just simply an agenda, transactional agenda. But okay, we were here now. This is what seems to be where it is going. So this is where we'll start from, the group. This call, this call.
Okay. So I am, let me reflect, but I think I've answered the Shreyoshi's question. Let me see what comes out for us. But I think something will come if you can give me some time.
Yeah, and that can be shared also later on. For me, I think
Yeah.
for the group, what I will do so that next time when I'm coming in this group is uh, I was when I entered, it was more like a contemplative space for me. And when Shreyoshi said that we bring a little more uh, intentionality, I resonated. So I'll sit with that. That how do I enter into this more intentional, or at least some kind of a directional oriented uh, participation here, and maybe I'll share that uh, before the call or very shortly in the call next time. So uh, that's my homework for this group.
I don't know. Sorry, you go ahead. I'm still thinking. Preeti,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm also in the reflection mode. I think for me, um, as I said, I'm taking back a lot of new perspectives. For me, when I come again to the group, I'm perhaps going to reflect on, uh, you know, how are we looking at these terms like gift economy and ecosystem and mindset change and all of that. When I came to the group, I came with a very open slate, and I just didn't know. I wasn't sure what I'm bringing into it or what I'm going to take away. I came with an open slate because that meaningful work really resonated with me. One of the things as an action step to move ahead in the next, it'll be wonderful if we can delve. This is for me. This is my own need. I don't know if it is resonating or not, but if I can delve more into defining, elaborating more, what is meaningful work for me? What does meaningful work mean to me? I want to delve into more details into it. What could be meaningful work to me may not be a meaningful work to the other person, and yet I'm offering, or yet even if not, that person is not in a transaction, but still may not be a meaningful work. So how do I look at meaningful work? I'd like to delve more into it. What energies are required to be able to define any kind of work as a meaningful work? I think I'd like to go there a little bit more.
Yes, I reckon. Thanks. That was beautiful. Thank you.
I don't know if I can. I don't know what to bring next time. Hmm. But I'm certainly going to reflect more on what Virenji mentioned about the ecosystem in more detail. Like, I mean, as much as I know these things, but to really internalize them is something that needs a lot more reflection. So I don't know what will be my actionable, but I'm going to think over it. Um, Maybe I can share
Yeah.
a few insights from my experience. Uh, if that gives a different perspective to this discussion, uh, I can do that as to what can I bring onto the table in terms of my background and to kind of give some direction to the conversation that we are engaging in, if at all.
So I think before I say adios, maybe I think there was enough to last me a few weeks. so much of so much of amazing. I can't thank you guys enough. And before we go, maybe we can save the chat if somebody can do that, or maybe copy paste if there is anything which is required by you guys. I feel I will be your directionless direction. That's my life purpose, I guess, or as I'm feeling more and more, and I'll be directed into the spaces wherever I feel at that moment to go in that direction, so that I am able to be present myself in the space where I'm fully present. So I think maybe that's with that we can maybe say good night today. And Birin bhai, maybe we can have a conversation again. I'm feeling pretty fulfilled and pretty filled right now. And these are my checkout remarks. I'm feeling very happy that I did this call. It just happened today because Nuno's this whole movement is happening for a few more days. And please do check out the Mighty Networks app, and in that you can check out the CDTE. And really, I feel a big hug to you guys, a big embrace for being with me on this beginning of the journey.
All right,
Yeah.
sure.
Oh,
Enjoyed a lot.
thanks.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much for the invitation. Bye bye. Good
Bye,
night.
guys.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.